Welcome to ECDC Majlis. I am Naina Rajesh, Assistant Professor from PG Department of Commerce and Management Studies. So today we are going to discuss about the topic Determinants of Demand. So after this session, you will be able to know about the term demand and also can understand the various factors which are affecting demand. So first of all, we have to know about what is meant by demand. We all may heard about some statements like this product has certain demand, this product doesn't has any demand. So what is meant by this demand? Demand means the consumer's desire towards a particular product along with their ability and willingness to pay for that commodity. Does this demand always stays the same? No, it will change. Sometimes the demand may be increasing, sometimes it may decreasing. So what are the factors which are affecting this demand? That is what we are discussing here. So let us move on to our topic, which is determinants of demand. So the very first factor which affects the demand for a particular commodity is price of a commodity. As per the universal law of demand, it clearly specifies that when all other factors affecting the demand stays same, whenever the price of a commodity increases, then its demand will decrease. And at the same time, whenever the price of a commodity decreases, then its demand will increase. So there is a negative relationship or inverse relationship exists between the price and the demand of a particular commodity. In our daily life, we consume different varieties of goods. There may be food items that we consume on our daily basis. There may be medicines that we consume on a daily basis. So all these kinds of products are important in our life. We can't survive without these kinds of products. So its demand always remains constant irrespective of the price changes. These types of goods comes under the category of necessary goods. So its demand remains constant irrespective of the price changes. But on the other hand, there are some other kinds of categories as well. For example, comforts, luxury goods. It may change, its demand may change according to the changes in its price. There are some other categories like prestigious goods. Its demand may remain constant. So these are the relationship between demand and the nature of a commodity. Then the next one is income and wealth of consumers. Different consumers have different levels of income, and these levels of income also have an influence on the demand of commodities. Whenever the consumer's income level increases, then the demand for commodities will also increase. On the other hand, whenever the income level of consumers decreases, then the demand of commodities will also decrease. So there exists a positive relationship between the demand of commodity as well as the income of consumers. So this is the case of normal goods. There are some other categories of goods. For example, inferior goods. In this case, when the consumer's income increases, they may not prefer the inferior goods. On the other hand, they may prefer some other superior quality goods. So here, there exists an inverse relationship between the income of consumer and the demand of inferior goods. Then the next one is taste and preferences of consumers. We all know that different consumers have different kinds of preferences, different kinds of fashion sense, different kinds of taste and preferences. So all these will also have an influence on the demand of commodity. So that is happening here as well. Any change in the taste, fashion and preferences of consumers will also have an influence on the demand of commodities. Then the next factor is prices of related goods. There are mainly two types of related goods. They are substitute goods and complementary goods. In the case of substitute goods, which means the goods we consume in place of the other. The best example is tea and coffee. Whenever the price of tea increases, then the consumers may shift their demand towards coffee because comparatively coffee's price is less in comparison with the tea. So whenever the substitute commodities price increases, then the demand of original commodity will also increase. So there exists a positive relationship. And the next category is complementary goods. Complementary goods are those goods which we consume together. The best example is camera and its film, and the car and its tire. All these kinds of products that we consume together. So when the complementary goods price increases, then the original commodities demand will also increase. And on the other hand, whenever the complementary goods price decreases, then the demand for original commodity will also decrease. There comes the next one, which is consumers' expectation. Consumers may have certain expectations with regard to the future price. Sometimes the consumer may expect a further rise in the price of commodities. In such a case, they may purchase larger quantities in the current period. On the other hand, they may sometimes expect a fall in the price of commodities in the near future. So, in such a case, they may postpone their purchase to that future period. So, likewise, the consumer's expectation will also have an influence on the demand of commodities. The next factor is advertisement. Of course, advertisement has a strong influence on the demand of goods. As we all know that advertisement will create, maintain and increase the demand of goods and services. Then the next factor is changes in population. A change in population may cause change in demand for various goods and services. When the population increases, the number of consumers will also increase. So it will definitely have an influence on the demand of various goods and services. So likewise, there is a connection between the changes of population and the demand of commodities. And the next factor is business cycle. Our economy passes through different stages or different situations. These situations can be termed as business cycles. Sometimes the economy may be in a boom period. Sometimes it may be in a recession period. So all these kinds of cycles also have an influence on the demand of commodities. In the case of a boom period, then the commodities demand will increase. And on the other hand, in the case of a recession, economy will be in a depressed stage. In such a time, all the commodities demand may decrease. So likewise, the business cycle also have an influence on the demand of commodities. So let us conclude our topic. So today we discussed about the major factors which are affecting the demand. They are price of a commodity, nature of commodity, income and wealth of consumers, taste and preference of consumers, then price of related goods, consumers' expectations, advertisement, changes in population and business cycle. I hope you all could understood this topic. Thank you.